I'm gonna tell you about ghee. So yesterday I put up a post on Instagram saying that I was eating ghee. This is my ghee of choice. It's by Ancient Organics. It says eat good fat. I go through so much of this. And so yesterday I posted about how this is like one of my main food groups because I eat so much of it. And how I used to eat an oatmeal breakfast, and my oatmeals were full of like coconut oil and nuts, and like I was doing everything sort of right by quote nutritionist standards, but it wasn't the right breakfast for me. It was still way too high in carbohydrates. And if you're like me and your blood sugar is super sensitive to like spikes and drops, or you're more of a endomorph, metabolic type, meaning that you're a very slow metabolizer, then a high carbohydrate breakfast could contribute to all kinds of health challenges like imbalanced blood sugar, all the things associated with that, like weight gain, diabetes associated with that, hormonal imbalance is one of the most common ones, mood instability, inability to sleep, all those things. So what I ended up doing was I went to this conference and I learned about a few new things, and so I started adding more fat. I stopped fearing that the fat was going to make me fat, and I was being a little bit challenged with my weight about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I cut the oatmeal, cold turkey, no more oatmeal, and I started eating a lot of fat. And the result was that I, like 15 pounds just dropped off without me having to do much, because I'm not like a hardcore workouter. I exercise regularly. I do yoga and Pilates, but I'm not like, I was never going to exercise the weight off. That just wasn't going to be a sustainable solution for me. So I always, as you know, on diet, it's always about finding things that you can actually sustain. So yes, high intensity workout programs are great. You can get super fit, and like calorie restricted diets are, well, I don't know if they are great, but you can lose weight, but it has to be something that you can sustain. And for me, eating a ton of fat was something I could sustain. So what I love about ghee is that it's a saturated fat, so it's super fuel for the nervous system. It's really, really nutritive for the gut. It's a very healing food for the cells that actually line the intestinal tract. Oh, thank you for sharing. Thanks, and also for the reminder. So if you guys are enjoying this so far, share it, please, so that others can come and learn and enjoy and have super fueled fat breakfasts too. So it's super nutritive for the actual cells of the intestinal tract. And ghee is made from butter, but what happens is that you heat the butter, you boil it, and I actually have a blog post about this on, I think it's on culinarynutrition.com, we have a blog. Thank you everyone for sharing and inviting. Thank you, I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So what they do is they heat it, and you essentially skim off the protein solids like the casein and the lactose sugars. So the lactose sugars sink to the bottom, the protein comes to the top, so you skim it off and then you pour it through a strainer. So what you're left with ghee is the milk proteins are gone, the milk sugars are gone, the lactose. So most often what people react to in dairy products are not even necessarily the casein, but the sort of the complex structures that form from the casein in the processing of dairy, or we react to the lactose because for many of us, depending on our ancestry, after the age of 2, we're not intended to digest milk. We don't have the enzymes for it. So the question, is it better than grass-fed butter? It's better than grass-fed butter. It's made from, well, at least the one I get is made from grass-fed butter. And so the reason why I like it more than grass-fed butter is because it has all of the benefits of the fats, but it doesn't have the lactose, and it doesn't have all the proteins that could potentially, or not as many proteins, it could potentially cause digestive distress, more so that can cause an allergic response and will further suppress and impair the functioning of your immune system. So we don't want that. We want everything operating optimally. So what I love about this is that it's got all the benefits of grass-fed butter, the butyric acid, the short chain saturated fats, all of those amazing things. It's made from organic butter, but if you're dairy intolerant, like 1 in a million might react to it. But the fact is that it's virtually dairy-free, and there's actually, yes, this is the label. This is called Ancient Organics. I'm not paid by them. Ancient Organics Ghee, 100% organic from grass-fed and pastured cows. It's expensive, I'll say it right out there, especially here in Canada, because we order this from the US, so right now it's very expensive with our dollar. We order by the case. I always recommend people should run their households like they run their businesses. So we buy in bulk. We always have wholesale accounts with anything we consume. But there are also Canadian companies, and you can also just go and buy organic butter and make your own ghee if you can't have dairy. So there is a brand, and I can't remember the brand name, but it is, they actually, I think they're going through a certification to have it labeled as dairy-free. And how long is it good for? It is good for, it's good indefinitely. We don't even keep ours, there's a expiration date on here. We keep our, best before January 2017. So it's pretty solid, and we keep ours in the cupboard, and we've never had a problem. St. Francis, I think it's an okay one. We've bought it. What I didn't love about it was the consistency. So what I love about this one is it's super, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, it's super creamy. Like, it's creamy, and sometimes even when we make it ourselves, it's a little more granular, which doesn't really matter if you're like just spreading it on things or putting it in smoothies. But anyway, this is my favorite one. So that's the one we get because I like it. And happy wife, happy life. So fat. I'm gonna do a blog post, I think, on like how to fat fuel your breakfast, because I think it's so fundamentally important. And we think like we need our green smoothies and we need all that. And like, yes, they're all delicious. But right now, here in Canada, it's February. I don't feel like having a green smoothie after a workout. I want something warm and fueling and fatful. So I'm gonna go through the other things that I put into my elixir. My breakfast. So the first thing is Elixir, which is optional, obviously. So Elixir is a blend that my husband, Josh Catalis, makes, and it's made with cacao powder, so it's a raw chocolate base, and has all kinds of adaptogenic herbs in it, like ashwagandha and maca and astragalus and 2 different types of ginseng. So it's really tonifying for the body and helps you be like superhero strong. So we love the Elixir blend from Josh. I love using that one. I'm gonna add in the Dandy blend. So Dandy blend is a dandelion root extract that it's essentially like hitting the purge button on your liver. So this recipe, let me grab my cookbook. I'll be right back. So this recipe is not in the Undiet cookbook because the Undiet cookbook was based on, you know, the general food that you can find at your supermarket, ideally. So a lot of these foods you're not going to find. But I do have in the Undiet cookbook the Uncoffee, which is what this is sort of based on, that includes raw cacao, it includes Dandy blend, it includes honey, includes an almond milk, which I don't have, it includes coconut oil or ghee, because not everyone can find ghee. So there's a few extra things that I have that I didn't put in here because they're not essential for life. Food is essential for life. These are just like the extra golden ticket things, and you don't need all of them. You just choose the ones you want and the ones that work for you. So I put in some Dandy blend, some lion's mane. So this is essentially, I've been under the weather. I've actually had a cold this last week. So this is actually just for overall power, force, and strength. And then I also put in colostrum. What? So colostrum comes from the first milk, this is bovine, of the cows. The calves get all their milk, not to worry. And colostrum as well doesn't have those dairy proteins in them the same way. Oh, so many questions. So the lion's mane, we order our herbs from a company called Jing Herbs. Lion's mane is the last thing I added. And yeah, so I'm on to colostrum. Colostrum is, I'm gonna put 2 scoops in, I'll explain why in a minute. But colostrum is really high in protein, really, really powerful for the immune system, also really good for the gut, really good for building up healthy immune function, so reducing the foreign antibodies that can affect immune conditions, autoimmune, suppressed immune system. This one we get through a company called Thrival, but it smells like vanilla. So delicious, so really good growth hormone. A lot of if you look it up, you're gonna see all the stuff about like bodybuilders using it to like build up muscle mass. Obviously, that's not what I'm doing. I'm good with the size of my shoulders, and I appreciate having a neck. But who's moving in? Come on in. The company name Thrival, Daniel Vitalis's brand. That's the one we order. And we order it again, super bulk. It is expensive. But so this is a great protein source, really good for the immune system. So it's like the protein in whey, but not all the bad stuff. Well, it's actually nothing like whey, because whey is a byproduct of the dairy industry, whereas this is the first milk from a cow. So it's actually has nothing really to do with whey, completely different protein, way more digestible, essentially non-allergenic. I read this study, it's like a 0.01% will have an allergic response to this. So, and I'm dairy intolerant completely, and I'm so good with colostrum, and it's helped me heal eczema, it's helped me do all kinds of stuff. So I put in 2 scoops of colostrum. What I normally put in, this is my empty jar of collagen. Someone asked where you buy the elixir. You can buy the elixir on joshkatalis.com. So the Periscope, I will make it available. If you go to katch.me/Meghan Telpner, you can find all of my Periscopes I've ever done. They all get saved there. This one I think we're gonna be putting on YouTube. So collagen, I don't have any, we ran out, but it's another amazing protein source that I put into my morning drink. Really good for the connective tissues of the body. So essentially everything that builds our organs. I love it because unlike a lot of powdered proteins, neither of these have like that chalkiness. They have no taste. They virtually completely dissolve. They make your drink a little bit thicker, but that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's like totally awesome. So, oh, thank you for the compliment on being a good teacher. So because we're out of collagen, I put in 2 scoops of colostrum. Normally I do 1 and 1. So all of this stuff, yes, it is expensive, and I recognize that, which is why they're not the breakfast in the Undiet Cookbook, but the Undiet Cookbook is full of savory, fatful breakfasts, because that's really, in 2016, we need our fat, okay? Stop the fat fearing. Fat is what is gonna make you awesome and healthy and feel good and sustain your weight, sustain your mood, sustain your energy, which all of those things will help sustain your relationships. It will make you happier, and it will help you be more productive so you actually can be more effective at the work you choose to do and be maybe nicer to your children. All a win. Okay, so I put in those things, and now the good. So I've got a little bit of honey, raw unpasteurized honey. These are from my friends at Beekeepers. And I also have Lakanto, which is a sweetener from monk fruit that's a 0 calorie. So today I'm gonna put in just a little bit of Lakanto. Oh, thanks for gifting my books. I appreciate that so much. I'm gonna put in just a little bit of honey, and I don't normally do honey, but it's Sunday. So I'm putting honey in here, and not too much, but I've also been dealing with this sort of cough, so honey's really good for that too. And it's delicious. Really good. We'll have to blend it after. And then, the piece de resistance, the best part ever. Gotta get the ghee, gotta get the ghee. A heaping tablespoon or so, or 2. Love the fat. Fat makes our food delicious. And then I'm going to blend it. So the sweetener I used was called Lakanto, L-A-K-A-N-T-O, comes from monk fruit. The other one I'd recommend is xylitol, which I don't mind. I'm not a fan of stevia. Some people really love stevia, but I find it has a disgusting aftertaste. And I've read some things about it contributing to infertility, and one day we hope to have children. Okay, so while the water's boiling, are there any questions I can answer of yours? Thanks for sticking around, by the way, and thanks for listening. And if you want to get more goodness from what I do, head over to meghantelpner.com and subscribe, because we do a featured post every week, and we drop a newsletter in your inbox. It's got loads of information and loads of blog posts, and we go into our archives of the 2,000 articles I've written. What's xylitol like? Haven't tried it. Xylitol, here's my... I know that I'm a professional nutritionist. Here's why I don't like xylitol. It starts with an X. That is my scientific reason, because I don't trust foods that start with X. Nothing from nature starts with an X. But xylitol, it's a neutral tasting one. Is colostrum considered dairy? Not really. So if you start doing research on colostrum, you'll find that there's not a lot of... there's a lot to support colostrum as a healing food, even with dairy intolerance, which I have and have never had an issue. I was just in Winnipeg last May. I don't think I did a talk there. I did the news. I recorded some stuff for CTV News when I was in Winnipeg. I'm from Winnipeg originally, so I should probably come by for a visit sometime soon. Are there any other questions? Because I'm going to, do you want to wait around till I blend this up? Oh, is colostrum similar to collagen gelatin? Nope, it's not similar at all, actually. And collagen and gelatin are also not that similar. They're both, the companies I recommend are Great Lakes, but they're different types of proteins. They do different things, they have different properties culinary-wise, and they have different benefits nutrition-wise. Both are great, both are awesome. Shazam! That's it. Do I use Great Lakes gelatin? I do use Great Lakes gelatin. We make Jell-O with it. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed this, follow me, share it, subscribe. You can watch it again over at catch.me, katch.me/Meghan Telpner. And I would love it if you haven't. Hi, Elaine. Nice to see you here. If you haven't yet subscribed, go over to meghantelpner.com, subscribe to my newsletter. We've got some amazing things coming this season because I'm finally done the revamp of the Culinary Nutrition Expert Program, which was a year-long adventure. And now I can start focusing on creating more new stuff, which is always super fun. So thank you again, everybody. And if you don't yet have your copy of the Undiet Cookbook, you should probably get it because it's awesome. Bye. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy Sunday.